good evening or good morning, whichever it may be in your guys. What I'm going to talk to you people about is motor oils, transmission oils, differential case oils, and primary case oils in Harley Davidson motorcycles. A lot of misleading information I've been seeing on the internet. You know, a lot of you guys out there, you're only screwing up your Harleys by believing half the things that you read. Because I went down the list, you know, I just added another Harley to my collection, an 02 Softail Standard 1450, and I just wanted to see what the dealership I bought it from, Harley dealership, what kind of oils they put in it or added to with or whatever. Here's what I'm hearing on here. It's so ridiculous. Marketers are making fools out of you damn people, man. I'm hearing stuff about Amsoil, Lucas oil treatment, this Sin blend, and then it'll have a ridiculous number, Sin number 3 blend. Man, these marketers are making idiots out of you people. Let me explain oil. Okay, oil comes from the ground, under the ground that you stand on, okay? There's only okay, all oil comes from that source. Now you got some oil that's synthetically blended, but it's still, they're using oil from under the earth, under the ground that you stand on. So there's only 2 types of oil that exist. You've got non-detergent oil, and you have detergent oil. And that has nothing to do with viscosity-based oil. And let me say something else. There is no such thing as two-weight oils like people assume. Like when you see 5W20 or 5W30, 15W40, 20W50. Okay, what you're seeing there, that first number, like let's take 5W20, 5 weight. What that is 5 weight oil. And what that 30 or 20 stands for in 5W20, it means it protects up to that equal thickness of oil, which basically is not true. That's actually not true at all. It's just myth. It's marketers make it up, and then they pay back the people that refine it to not tattletale. That's all it is. Now let's go to what would be the highest in automotive or Harley engine oils. Okay, as far as the viscosity range, 20W50. What that is 20 weight oil that is supposed to have the protection ability of what 50 weight oil would have. But it is actually 20 weight oil is what it is. The 50 doesn't even exist. It's that first number. See on that board. See, those are federal regulations that weight has to be listed on that oil. Or at least the oils I've dealt with, like Castrol. Now, as far as what motor oil I'm going to put in a Harley, if it goes for 20W50, I'm not going to go buy Harley oil or synthetic trash, synthetically blended. Hell no. What I'm going to do is go to some place like AutoZone, whatever, and I'm going to buy 20W50 Castrol. Because that 20W50 Castrol is the same damn thing as 20W50 Harley Davidson oil. They both came from under the ground, people. And in that engine, Okay, you want to use a detergent oil because they do use filters on Harleys. Even my 77 Sportster, which was the oldest Harley I ever owned, it had a filter. The filter on it was inside the oil tank. You know, let's see, which side of that? I think it was the left side of the seat. Yeah, it held 3/4. Okay, now let's talk about the transmission in a Harley. Alright, now, speaking of some of the old ones, my Sportster Harley, it was a 77 1000. That, the primary and transmission ran off of the same oil on that. Now, I don't know, maybe the new Evos and Sevo Sportster, maybe they're the same, I don't know, because, you know, I like to deal with big twin. I don't know why. They're actually getting too heavy for me. I'm 60 years of age, but, you know, that and I smoke too many cigarettes, but, transmissions on those depends on the climate where you live. You cannot tell any person what thickness oil to use in anything. It depends on the climate where you live. Such as on a Harley, the transmission, let's say I lived up by the Great Lakes, or I lived in New York. I would run a straight 30 weight in the transmission, non-detergent, a straight 30 weight. Okay, in Houston, where I live, a straight, if I don't use the bike that much, if the bike's pretty new, I'd say 40 weight. It gets hot in Houston, Texas. If I use the bike a lot and it had like over 20,000 miles on it, I would use at least a 50 weight non-detergent in my transmission. Now, I've heard a lot on the internet, people using 75 weight, you know, gearbox oil. You could, but the problem with that, when you're moving rapidly, you have to figure those shafts in that gearbox in that Harley, and those gears are a lot smaller than what you have in a car or pickup. And that thick of an oil to get between those roller bearings and between the teeth of those gears, something will have to give, and that oil can liquid can literally even destroy iron. If you try to force it to move too quickly, it's like, go figure. You know, if you don't put antifreeze in a car, you know, when it freezes, that block will crack, meaning it separates the cast iron metal in that thing, and the water did it. I mean, you know, so liquid, you know, can be very powerful. I mean, you can cut through steel if you compress liquid enough and have enough force behind it, it can be done. But, okay, now, well, in an old Harley, one that's really been, you know, ran, yeah, you could put 80 weight gearbox oil in them, it wouldn't hurt. Okay, now, but remember, non-detergent for transmissions and primary. And this is something I want to tell people about on primaries. Oh man, I read in a Harley forum to where a guy was saying, they recommended at the dealer I use Harley Davidson 2050 in my primary case. You better not. Let me tell you why. Because Harley Davidson 20W50, just like Castrol or Pennzoil or Quaker State 20W50, that's a detergent oil, people. Alright, now, your clutch assembly, a Harley clutch, it's plates similar to an automatic transmission that are in that clutch pack assembly. Okay, they have a coating on them so they'll stick together when you release the clutch. If you put any detergent oil, that would be like if you put detergent oil in your automatic transmission. It's going to dissolve. You're going to end up with plate dust. It's going to wear your clutch plates down. You don't use a detergent oil, okay? But again, okay, you're going to want a non-detergent oil, a non-viscosity rated oil. All right, same as the transmission, but it's going to depend on the climate where you live. Like if you live in New York, use straight weight 20 weight. Okay, if you live in Central America, I would say 30 weight. If you live in Houston, where I live, I don't use my bikes very much. I'm going to probably drop the 40 straight weight in my primary case. You know, because this latest Harley, the 02, it's pretty tight. It's got 38,000 miles, but it's pretty tight. But remember, for your transmission and primary case, non-detergent, which means you're not going to be using viscosity oil. And don't let people BS you. I mean, you know, brand ain't got shit to do with it, people. There's no such thing as a can of magic. It doesn't exist. Like Lucas Oil Treatment, that's nothing but BS, people. You know, I don't know what kind of concoction that is, but when you're talking about oil, it all comes from under the ground. It's blended in different thicknesses. Okay, and then detergents are added to detergent oils. But other than that, oil is oil. Oil you're using today, people, don't you know that is oil that was recycled from people that was walking around, breathing, eating, just like you in 1950, that were driving a 1950 Ford or Chevrolet? That is the same oil, people. It's just been re-refined. And re-refined used oil is as good as oil when it first comes out of the ground, because it's oil. I mean, but anyway, I just wanted to let you people up, you know, on oils, you know, to use, and quit wasting money for brand name, because the brand has nothing to do with it. You know, my name is Earl, and I can have an oil, and I can put a pretty fancy picture with me standing there with some girl in a bikini, and it can be called Sci-Fi Star Trek oil, you know. But that's just bullshit. It's based on the thickness and whether or not it's detergent or non-detergent. Like you take automatic transmission fluid in a car. Notice they call it fluid. It's not fluid, it's damn oil. They put red dye color in it. All automatic transmission fluid is that we know of, it's 1.5 weight to 4 weight oil, non-detergent oil, and then they put the red dye in it. It's the same thing. And actually, you know, the newer cars, a lot of them that call for 5W20, you're running 5 weight oil. You're only running oil that's a little bit thicker than your automatic transmission fluid. They're just BSing you people. They're scamming you people. It's just to make money off of you, marketing. But you know, people, go ahead. If you want to believe in your labels and stuff, go ahead. Go ahead. But, you know, I'm telling you like it is. You know, I've been in engineering, around refineries. I've been a mechanic all my life. I'm just telling you the way that it is. Anyway, all of you take care, and I hope you're having a good morning, evening, or night.